do it, then then have somebody else do it for you.
There you go. Do an absentee ballot.
Do an absentee ballot. Have your nephew, your niece, your cousin. Because that's what Democrats do. I mean, if that's what they do.
They fill it all out and they say, "Here, sign at the bottom. We got your vote."
I mean, how many dead people vote regularly?
It's astounding. Astounding.
So they're saying right now, because Trump just hit the nomination, or the presumptive nomination for the GOP.
Right.
Did you hear about the border? The border?
I'm not sure. What about it?
Surge. Huge.
No, I didn't hear about that.
Huge.
Does not surprise me one bit.
Huge surge of immigrants just flooding the border right now, knowing in their mind Trump will win, and if they're not here, they're thinking in their mind.
But here's why it's
got to get them.
I'm going to explain to you why it's not going to work. When Trump does touchback amnesty, which for you conservatives out there who are like, "Oh, look, he's for amnesty," we already discussed this in multiple episodes. You cannot
humanely.
You cannot be for no amnesty and solve any immigration problem in America or illegal immigration problem. If you're trying to solve the problem with illegal immigration or illegal immigrants, the actual people in America who are here illegally, you cannot solve it without some level of amnesty, without having the kind of human rights violations that we haven't seen since the Trail of Tears, when Andrew Jackson marched all the Native Americans all the way out to the West. All right? Seriously. You got to really think about it and do a reality check when you think about it. When you think about all the generations upon generations upon generations of illegals that have been here for many decades, all right? That being said, I lost my train of thought. So we are here with Smith Radio at smithradio.com. That is Smith with a Y, SMYTHRADIO. If you want to be a part of the program, we are at 772-49-SMITH, SMYTH. And that's only if we're live. If we're not, just leave a message and we will get back to you shortly. We're on Facebook at facebook.com/SmithRadio, and also on Twitter. Our hashtag, or our handle at Twitter is at Smith Radio. That's SMYTHRADIO.
Breaking news.
Oh, we got breaking news.
Nyquist wins the Kentucky Derby.
Oh, that's
it. Almost looks like NyQuil, but it's Nyquist.
Is that like Bob Bergquist? Or
hey, something that we haven't, and we'll get back to some of these things. We're running out of time here, but something that popped up that I want to keep in the light, and we haven't talked about it in a while. Yikes.
Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you.
Paul Rhino has a stamp on his forehead, traitor. So North Korea.
I will retweet that.
Do not think North Korea is not still on the radar. North Korea is testing nuclear weapons. They're testing ICBMs, International Continental Ballistic Missiles. They are testing these weapons of mass destruction to launch them around their area to threaten freedom-loving countries like South, which is, capitalism has raised South Korea up out of the dumps of nothingness into a want-to-be livable country. I mean, obviously they've got their faults. I wouldn't want to be in North Korea. So North Korea is threatening South Korea still with nuclear weapons and launching missiles. Iran is still testing nuclear in the beginning stages, claiming they have the nuclear capabilities, nuclear weapons, all these things that are just unrolling and all the turmoil that's going on in the Middle East that has been brought to you by your friend and mine, the communist-loving friend that we all wish to have, Mr. Barack Barry Hussein Obama. And the TPP, that trade deal, the guy that's running for Paul Rhino's seat to unseat Rhino,
I still can't believe that.
He's showing the people of what TPP that Rhino Paul Ryan voted for is destroying the jobs in Wisconsin. He said before Paul Ryan went there, we had a manufacturing boom. Now that Paul Ryan's there, we are absolutely falling apart here in Wisconsin, manufacturing-wise. These and he talks about the motorcycle that they ride. The motorcycles are made in Wisconsin. They had jobs in Wisconsin, and they've left. And then all of a sudden the administration brags that they had 161,000 jobs added last month. We need to add in the 300,000 plus jobs to even break even, to get ahead. And they're saying that the unemployment ticked down to 4.9. No, it's 5.0, hovering around 5.0, which is completely absurd and completely fake. So don't think those topics are still not on our radar. I know we've been talking a lot about.
Yeah, that unemployment thing is just the biggest scam. I mean, 93 million people in America not working.
They could work physically. They could work.
These are able-bodied people that could work, and they're not.
Correct. And it's only by the grace of God that I still have a position where I'm at. And the irony of that is my company has one client only.
Generous Electric?
And that's General Electric.
Generous Electric.
Generous Electric. And they now picked up a contract with Siemens.
Oh, really?
So we're funded completely and wholeheartedly from the government.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, it's a shame. Let these people build their companies on their own merits. The government doesn't need to be picking and choosing the companies that should or shouldn't.
Yeah, what happens to your company when Trump gets in and says we don't need to be dumping all that money on and propping up a giant corporation like GE?
Right. Well, I mean, look at the way Trump has built his corporations throughout the years. His company, his name brand, and this whole thing, America First. That's the way it should be. Right. America should always be number one, first and foremost, in the eyes of all
American politicians.
All the politicians.
If you're an American politician, you should be putting America first.
And if you're not, major problems.
Right. You need to get out.
And then there's an article from the New York Daily News. President Trump wants Giuliani as Secretary of Homeland Security.
What do you think of that?
Well, it's funny how they troll people with that title. President Trump, meaning if he's President Trump.
Are they saying he definitely will be?
They're trolling.
Yeah,
they're trolling.
It's definitely a troll.
Start calling him President Trump wants Giuliani as Secretary of Homeland Security. I would love it. I think it would be awesome.
He was mayor of New York City.
Well, he makes millions of dollars now going around the country for security.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Security advisor to all these corporations.
For those of you that don't know much about Rudy Giuliani or are on the younger side or whatever, I can tell you right now, New York City, prior to Giuliani taking over as mayor, was worse. Probably worse than what Chicago is.
Yeah, they're saying that it was so bad.
I mean, look at any movie that was set in the 70s or 80s in New York City. Everything was covered in spray paint, the tagging and all that. Right. You would be crazy to go on a subway.
Oh.
Suicidal.
Right.
There were just people getting murdered, switchblades, gangs, all kinds of stuff, drugs all over the place. And then Giuliani comes in, and the way he cleaned it up was he tripled the police force.
Right.
He just put lots of boots on the ground from the police. He hired new police. He put just flooded the whole city with policemen, and it just turned around overnight. And now, when I went to New York City for the first time, which would have been 1999,
right?
It was very hospitable, very clean. I never felt any threat or worry of being mugged. I mean, mugging was a very common thing in New York City back in the day. And so you can thank Giuliani for turning that all around.
Right. And if we leave it into the hands of some of the communists that are there now, they're going to try and turn it back.
Certainly.
Yeah, I mean, that's their goal. Hey, did you hear about this thing with Chris Matthews?
Maybe. That's what about him?
You remember when he did the whole Obama got a thrill up my leg?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Trump and his wife
Okay.
were walking out after Indiana for the whole acceptance speech and everything. I'm going to play this for you. Be very careful and listen. Now, there's a lot of chatter and a lot of talk, but listen to the quiet voice in the background and see if you can pick this up.
President, should something happen to you, and it has to be compatibility, and only the candidate can make that decision.
And the party will trust Trump to be able to make that decision.
Well, I think the party won't have a role in it.
Did you see her walk? Runway walk.
We just heard from the likely nominee of the Republican Party.
Did you see the way she walks? That's a runway walk. God, she's great.
Oh, he said, God, she's great? Yeah. Oh, wow, that's kind of surprising. Because Chris Matthews
is into man.
What?
He likes Obama. He's into that.
Well, he's into Obama. He had the thrill up his leg. He literally had an orgasm on live television.
Right.
And he also blew a gasket right after Romney trounced him in the first debate, which we captured on video and posted onto YouTube. So clearly he's for Obama, but I've always thought that he is a very loyal Democrat.
Right.
So for him to say that about Melania, is that who he's talking about?
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised. So he's getting a thrill up his leg for the Trumps.
For Trump's wife.
Well, you know.
Yeah, but you can't go on air and say, I mean, she's a beautiful looking woman, but wow, keep your tongue in your mouth.
Well, I'm wondering if he's going to support them because...
Based on the thrill is back. Because the thrill was gone. The thrill is gone.
Right.
It was gone, but now the thrill is back.
Yeah, I mean, it makes you wonder, how is he going to treat Trump knowing that he lusts for Trump's wife?
Wow. So I know everybody knows Ann Coulter, and she's great. I love her commentary. She's writing a lot more for Breitbart.
She was on Bill Maher's show this past week.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah.
It's something really wrong with that guy.
Well, I can't believe she would go on his show. But
yeah.
You know what? She likes a battle.
She does. She enjoys it, and she holds her own very well. But like I said, if you follow us on Facebook.com/Smith Radio, you're listening to Smith Radio. Your host, Brian Smith and Carrie Smith. You'll see the ad that I reposted of Ann Coulter, who wrote an article, and just a little teaser. This is just a little teaser of the article, and you'll love it. It's just full of wit and insight. She writes, a guy just won the Republican nomination for president by spending no money, hiring no pollsters, running virtually no TV ads, and just saying what he truly believes, no matter how many times people told him he couldn't say that.
There you go.
And at the beginning, the onset, I was starting to get into some of these articles, and they're like, Trump doesn't know what he's doing. And they were cracking on Trump for not hiring pollsters. And they interviewed and say, Trump, how many pollsters are you hiring? What? Spending money on pollsters? Why? I just get the polls from you guys. They're like, and then they start laughing at him. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is a nightmare.
You don't need the polls. I mean, what do you need the polls for?
Because if you need talking points and you're not saying, if you are not speaking from the heart, and Rush talks about this all the time, and Rush should pick up on this quickly. Trump speaks from the heart. He doesn't need a teleprompter to speak it. He knows what he says, and he says what he says. Doesn't need a teleprompter. What he is saying is resonating naturally with the people. If you don't believe any of that stuff, you've got to poll the people to find out what they believe so you can resonate with them.
So you can demagogue them.
Correct. Exactly, demagogue.
So if it's true that he's demagoguing people, he's doing it off the cuff.
Right.
But we know that it's not just demagoguery. He's just speaking from the heart, and it's resonating with the people.
Right.
I believe my definition of demagoguery is trying to figure out what they want to hear, whether you believe it or not. Right. So the fact that Trump believes it himself kind of takes him out of the realm of demagoguery. Right. So I don't think he's demagoguing people. I think he just happens to be resonating with a majority of the people, and he's going to get Democrats to switch over, not because there's anything liberal about his message.